Alright, I'm sure you will remember this. What I'm going to call a dice clock. Rather nice looking piece. Definitely unique, not something that you'll, ouch, find on a regular basis. I'm sitting on the cord that's charging the camera right now, and it's kind of painful. Here you can see the rest of it. But you will have also noted that in that video I said that it didn't work, because it had a little bit of corrosion problem on the terminal. Well, I'm pleased to say that for a long while, actually, I just have not been... I haven't gotten around to make the video about it. I have since fixed it. You can definitely see the fix. What I had to do was I took the terminal here. Let me get some light. Some zoom on that. There you can see it. It's not perfect. You can still see some of that blue crud. Make sure the light doesn't fall. But it's certainly a lot better than it was. And I actually took a clip lead because the solder joint that was holding the wire that was going to that terminal on actually broke as a result of this. So I took that lead, I stripped a little bit of it, and actually stripped a lot of it because the first attempt at stripping kind of failed and ripped off a little bit of the wire, unfortunately. But, actually, basically now I just took a clip lead. Unfortunately, it also means that the mechanism doesn't quite sit flush, because it's got a little bit of the clip lead sticking out, which is kind of unfortunate, but it does work, and I'm not ever planning on hanging this on the wall, but you can see if I zoom out here. You can see that that's a little loose. But I don't ever plan on hanging this on the wall. I'd also like to point something else out, which is the real reason for my making this video. You see, many clocks, such as that one up there, and also a couple of the ones that I've got over here, like that one. It's way up there. This one. They all make the typical tick-tock noise, which you can probably hear in the background. This is a little bit different. I'd like to point out. It doesn't make that noise, and it's even more different than a lot of those other mechanisms in that because most of them use AA batteries. This one, as you can tell, uses a C-cell. And right away you can see something a little bit interesting. What's that? Looks like some kind of balancing mechanism. You can also see the gears a little bit on the inside there as well, moving around. But the other thing that you can notice, if I can set the clock down, is that there's a spring in there that is attached to this thing that moves back and forth like that. And I'm imagining that that is what gives it its little action. It gets a little bit of a start from the battery, or the battery keeps it running a little bit, provides power to something, and that spring is what does the timekeeping. So, in effect, this is kind of a spring clock, which is really interesting for something that really, quite honestly, looks rather cheap. Or rather, it could even be a homemade clock for all I know. Somebody could have grabbed this piece, this black piece here, and also grabbed the dice and grabbed the mechanism, because this looks like a relatively homebrew mechanism if you ask me. You know, it's something you can buy at a craft store or something, or could buy at a craft store several years ago. It does have an adjustment. So you can see that there. Slower to faster, that's what that means. But this is, I don't really think that this is a true spring clock. And the reason why is because I think most spring clocks you're supposed to wind up. They don't require battery power. Just the same as weight clocks don't require battery power either. They just require the counterweight to be adjusted every once in a while. Or, I think even they need to be wound up, but I'm not exactly 100% positive on that. But either way, I think it's rather interesting that this uses this kind of mechanism, and I just thought that I would point it out to all of you. Here we can see them. That actually has a model on it. I didn't even notice that until now. Oops. Model 73322. Looks like that's what that says. And then we have some patents made in the USA, of course, so it can't be modern. There's nothing modern is made in the US anymore. There's our time adjustment. It does tell you which way the battery is supposed to go, which is also nice because a lot of clocks just don't do that, including the one that's up there, the wooden one. But I think that's really it. There's not much else interesting I can think to say of a clock. Because, you know, you've seen one, you've seen them all. The only real difference between them is the way the face looks. It's definitely an interesting face. I'm hoping that it will work for a good long while and won't need any servicing. But of course, like any mechanical device, it will probably need servicing at some point down the road. Maybe it'll need a new spring, I'm not quite sure. But I don't think I know enough about these things to put a spring into one of these. I just thought I'd make a nice little short video about this because some people have asked about it. And just to point out how cool it and its mechanism happen to be. So, thank you for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. And this is CP666 signing off. I hope to see you next time. Till then. Hopefully you can get some kind of an idea as to what it sounds like.